to one sober to another. I'm Wayne, and we are live. I have probably a split screen right there, and I'm gonna see. I'm working on. All right, so I unplugged this daggone thing and I plugged it back in. I'm going no mic. How does that sound? Can you hear anything? What was gooder? All right. So this is, believe it or not, I'm on a phone. So I'm actually, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'm on a phone and it is Sunday here in Germany and it is hot as Jesus. And now you got a nice headshot of me. And I'm happy that all you guys are here. And look, what I was saying in the beginning is our conversations don't always have to be about alcoholism. They don't always have to be about recovery and everything else. It could be whatever's on your mind. Because we are, yeah, I'm in Germany. I'm an American and I was a soldier for 20 years and then I retired. I stayed here. I married a German, and life is a beautiful thing because the year I retired was the year, or was it 2 years? About a year and a half before I retired, I had actually gotten sober. So um, living here now has absolutely been something that is amazing. If you are seeing a split screen, you know what? This is a little distracting on this phone, but that's okay. I'm gonna let that. How's that? You know what? That's a double-edged question. That's a loaded question to ask me how German sausage is. Mm. Um, First, Bratwurst is really good. I enjoy living here. As I said in the beginning, which you you may have not heard. Um, yeah, I had a guest, and you know what? It is what it is. The mic went sideways. The split screen is there, and all my text is upside down. So, but that's all right because it's not about having everything perfect, and that's actually something notable because we don't always have to be perfect, and we don't always have to have everything in a lined up like we thought it should be. For me, it's good that it's not perfect because being able to bounce back from the adversity in my life is the way that I made it how it is now. And that's the way that I've cultivated my recovery is to not set up those expectations because I want this to go perfect? Did I want this live stream to go perfect? Of course I did. Did I want you guys to, not have to tell me my volume was bad and everything else? Yeah, I did. But it doesn't always go that way. And things don't always go the way that we want them to go. How do you respond to that in your life? How do you respond to the the things that don't happen the way you wanted it to? Do you pout? Do you, in my active alcoholism, I followed it up and it all became resentment. It all became things I couldn't control and it all became, the world was against me. So I had to work through all that and I had to figure out things in my life that I could do to make the situation better without making it worse. Pablo, you know, we all set ourselves up from time to time and we all crash and burn, so to speak, in response to that because we don't have the skills yet necessarily in order to deal with it without the way we used to, which was alcohol and drugs and at least in my case, and it was um violence, it was anger, it was all these random things that I just didn't have control over. And I also drank in order to deal with things and I thought it would make me feel better. And just like you, Pablo, it made me feel like I was garbage. It made me feel like I didn't belong anywhere. And it made me feel like, the drink was the only thing I had that respected me. And that sounds dumb as heck now, since I'm sober. But, the drinking everything away, never helped anything. There was never a solution at the bottom of that bottle. And there was never, um, and there was never any answers every time I got done drinking. I'm not laughing at anything. I'm trying to figure out this madness right here. And somebody told me rotate the camera on side today. And I'm actually gonna do something I normally don't like doing and hold on to this camera, but I can see the comments a whole lot better. So thank you. Somebody said they went to a meeting. Third A meeting was the best yesterday. So your third AA meeting, and I'm not deviating from any specific topic because I really don't like to line up specific topics because that keeps you guys locked into um, what I want to talk about. So a third AA meeting, good for you, and it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but let me ask you this for the person that went to the meeting. What did you get from it? Because if it's your third, you haven't totally digested the fact. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm generalizing. You may not have digested the fact that you're in an AA meeting and what does that mean for you? So if you don't mind, what did you get from that third meeting? Because I know what happened for me, but I'm curious. AA is more than a cup of coffee. Well, you know what? Than tea. That is a fantastic statement. And I would say AA is in my opinion, going to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings was the best cup of coffee I've ever had, and it was garbage. So, Steve, I felt peace, felt very afraid before I went. You know what? So, when I say Alcoholics Anonymous is a bit like the best cup of coffee, And can everybody hear me okay? Because I'm trying to talk normal without yelling, and this is the phone mic. So, but I will fix this for the next one. Um, but the reason why you see the block on the bottom too is because I wanted somebody to come on and they weren't able to make it today. So I was actually building this for a partner. It is garbage coffee, uh, but I've had the best conversation in Alcoholics Anonymous talking to a bunch of people who drank like me and whose lives spun around like mine, but they figured it out for the most part. They figured it out. And, I'm not too big on the chiming of, the religious aspect and everything else. But I wanted to say, and Pablo, I'm gonna answer that in a second because I appreciate that. Where did I go? Oh yeah. So they kind of figured it out and they kind of brought to light some things that made sense. The waking up on a rooftop wasn't abnormal to them. So I did find peace in speaking to somebody about, peeling myself off a floor or, daggone it, I decided to drink all day instead of going to work. And I didn't have any money to drink, but somehow I found it by 6 a.m. Those kinds of things. And for that to be prominent conversation is invaluable because if you can connect with somebody like here, sorry for all that, if you can connect with somebody and you guys have a commonality that you can talk to comfortably, that's better than any therapist, in my opinion. And that's better than any doctor because I've tried them all. And for me, talking to another alcoholic worked a whole lot better than talking to somebody who's never been there. And Pablo, I want to thank you um, for saying that you appreciate me for putting myself out there. You know what? I'm here for you guys, and I'm here for me as well. It is kind of a selfish thing, only because doing these things helps me remember that I sat where some of you are right now, and Boondock, we can definitely do a video. I've sat where some of you are right now, and I know the thought of thinking that there's no escape, there's no release, and there's no tomorrow without another drink and all these other things. Because when somebody told me you can never drink again, you daggone it, I was getting drunk that hour. The reason for me is because to hear never, that's like telling an infant that they can never play with a certain toy. And a lot of us are like infants in our alcoholism, and a lot of us are just purely immature. And and that's where that goes for me. So I think I may have rambled a little bit, which brings me to like another point. Somebody asked me, or no, they didn't ask me. They commented that did I do something aside from drink alcohol? Because oftentimes they say I sound like I used to do meth. You know what? I've never done meth. I've never smelled meth, and I don't think that I would ever want to do meth. But who knows? In my alcoholism, I may have considered it only because it would be there maybe, and you know why not? Cokehead here, 102 days without. 102 days, Steve. You know what? That is a beautiful thing. And the reason that's a beautiful thing is because I didn't do meth, but I did do that stuff one single time. And believe it or not, one single time, folks. I've also been asked about that too. And I didn't really enjoy my mind going that fast, if that makes sense, Steve, and whomever else. But 102 days without that stuff controlling the way you think and, you know, filtering the way where your money goes and all that, that's a step, that's a leap forward. And 24 hours at a time is all you got to do. 24 hours at a time. That's a good message that I'm going to put here again because I always do. 24 hours at a time, you can do anything. That means you can go without drinking or using for 24 hours. Now, if you're at a point to where you're going to have medical issues, get medical attention, of course, without a doubt, because, some of that, oh, there's no tears. I'm back on my second day, dead man walking. You know what? The, I just lost total track. So 24 hours at a time, right? Dead man walking popped up right there. And it might be a new starting point for you. And it might be a low for you because you might feel bad a week for you. So as long as no one's dead and you're not in jail and you still have your faculties and you didn't hurt anybody and you still have a direction to go because you know that it is something that you didn't want a relapse of, there's always a starting point. And I tell you what, we're all here for you, dead man walking. You don't have to be a dead man walking. You can be a man walking in order to become alive, or a woman, or whatever you are, whatever you identify as these days. I don't know. I've been in the States, or I've been in Germany for 20 plus years. And Dead Man Walking, you got it. We are all here for you. I swear it. And my eyes are down because I'm looking at the comments. I never seen a dab emoji, Pablo. That's awesome. Um, I lost my train of thought, guys. Oh yeah. So I've been in this country forever, and I think a lot of stuff has changed across the world due to the thing, that stole 2 to 3 years from us and everything else. It's about time to stop using that as excuses or enablers to why we do what we do. I only say that because I hear it all the time, and people can argue with me and everything else. That's okay, because everybody is entitled to how they feel and think, without a doubt. But what I observe is that a lot of us are using that period of time as a reason why we are why we are. Now, when it comes to addiction and alcoholism and everything else, there's a lot of folks who got wrapped up in it. It may have started gradually during the start of that time and gotten worse all the way through it. So I can understand where that may be an issue in someone's life now. Pablo, we cast no judgment, because who are we to cast judgment? If you still drink beer and smoke weed, but you don't drink heavy, that's totally your business, man. But I'm gonna tell you, we are here. I'm here anyway. If that becomes something that you become powerless over, and you want a little insight that can possibly help it and help to make you better. Make sense? All right. So, Dead Man Walking, serious, we got you. Um, I'm actually glad to see all you. There are still things that come up in my life to where, I drank for 23 years. So, oh, I'll come back to that, Steve. So I drank for 23 years, and there's still stuff coming out that I feel bad about. The way that I have taught myself and the skills that I've picked up is that in that guilt. Otherwise, that's going to turn into self-loathing and self-resentment and that shame, and that will eat me up. So what I have to do is I have to connect with myself and find out why. Or signal wise, because I am moving. Ah, let me sit down and stop moving. Blacked out, and we can do one live where there's better signal. And if there's anything specific I can do to help somebody, I'll do it. As long as I'm able to. I can't speak from a high horse, Pablo. I appreciate that because my horse has always kind of like dragged at the bottom a little, and is pulling that heavy wagon, and we are just now getting the reins off. I've skills in my life better and better is um politics with the states and everything else. I can't get it. I can't. Um, I don't know. Man, walking. I didn't forget about you. You know, and I've talked about this before. How it can be, and I know what a setback is too. So, signal is caca poo poo. All right, people. Much love, much respect. Thank you for dropping in on a Sunday. I will see you later. And if you need anything, one sober to another at gmail.com. If you don't remember it, look in some of the descriptions of my videos. It's always there. And or just pull it up on Gmail. You'll see it on Google, that whole machine. Folks, I love you. Take care. I'll see you later. Want me to go?